Hello, hello, and welcome to a new installation here at Armed with Knowledge. This is going to be, we're going to call this the book review, book report, either one, whatever, we'll figure it out. This is something that I've wanted to do for a while now. It's something that I feel goes right along with what Armed with Knowledge is, what we're doing. So the first book that we're going to be doing is Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. So who actually is David Goggins? David Goggins is a retired Navy SEAL, the only member of the U.S. Armed Forces ever to complete SEAL training, U.S. Army Ranger School, and Air Force Tactical Air Controller training. Goggins has competed in more than 60 ultramarathons, triathlons, and ultra triathlons, setting new course records and regularly placing in the top 5. A former Guinness World Record holder for completing 4,030 pull-ups in 17 hours. He's a much sought-after public speaker who shared his story with the staffs of Fortune 500 companies, professional sports teams, and hundreds of thousands of students across the country. I got this book from my late friend Chris. At the time I was debating on whether I wanted this book or not, and he got it for me. I'm really glad that he did give this to me. This is a great book. At the time, all I knew about David Goggins was, you know, he'd broken a bunch of records and destroyed himself doing that. So I really didn't know what to expect. I know that, you know, he had a lot of motivational videos, talking shit to the camera about motivation and driving through. Reading this book really helps you understand where that comes from and how some of this stuff is possible that he accomplishes. It's an autobiography with a lot of lessons in it. He starts the beginning of this book, he says, from the time you take your first breath, you become eligible to die. You also become eligible to find your greatness and become the one warrior. The one warrior he's talking about, he quotes Heraclitus earlier, the paragraph before this. He's speaking of the men on the battlefield. He says that out of every 100 men, 10 shouldn't even be there, 8 are just targets, 9 are the real fighters, and we're lucky to have them, for they make the battle. But the one is a warrior. As it's an autobiography, you get the life story of the man who had kind of a rough upbringing, and not because he was in a rough neighborhood at all. It was a up close and personal with domestic violence, the violence of racism, the experiences that he had growing up. And throughout the book, he talks about mastering your own mind, where your thoughts are going and what's happening inside your mind. He says, only you can master your own mind. Most battles we fight in life are won or lost in our minds. And every mention of that is surrounded by valuable context. Like, we're only capable of living up to the image that we create for ourselves. If you can't see yourself in that position, you're never going to be in that position. More than once, he mentions how life is a big mind game, and the only person you're playing against is yourself. He talks about how to turn fear, pain, depression into strengths. Make your weaknesses your strengths, which sounds harrowing, but he really breaks it down, and it starts to make sense the way that he talks about it and how he's used it himself. It's obvious while reading this book that a lot of the things that he accomplished, that these records that he broke, the rare military feats that he accomplished, these things came from a dark place, and in doing so he suffered a lot of injuries, and almost getting to where his goal was, still doing better than 99% of the population of the planet, still not quite reaching what he was reaching for. It takes quite a while, and I wasn't sure we were going to see it, but he finally finds a place of gratitude and clarity, and then that's when the real breakthrough happens. And that's when he really finds his way to quit fighting himself and actually find his way through these accomplishments without so many injuries and without destroying his body doing these things. So I think it's important to mention that David Goggins is brutally honest with himself. If he wasn't, there wouldn't be a book to read. But unless you're being honest about your weaknesses, there's no way that you're going to face them and overcome them. That also comes with accepting and overcoming your failures, not accepting anything less than what you're capable of, what you're truly capable of, not hiding in comfort zones, and overcoming the fear of what people think of you. He says, and I'm paraphrasing this, in a world of insecure people, your light shines on the walls that they put up. I think The pieces of this book that resonate with me the most, he says, I was my own worst enemy. It wasn't the world or God or the devil that was out to get me. It was me. He's also very honest with himself, and he's adamant about self-accountability. Obviously, I don't agree with everything that David Goggins says about how to live your life and how to push yourself through, every minute of your life. But there's a ton of beautiful pieces in this book. There's just so much to take away from. And just like with anything else, take what you can from it and let the rest of it go. I recommend this book to anybody who wants to grow from where they are right now. As you can see, and you're gonna see this a lot, any of my books, I beat the shit out of these books, man. Throw Post-it notes in them, highlight all through them and everything. I go through them again and again, especially books like this. Especially be able to go through it a lot easier, or be able to find stuff that I know. He's got some challenges in here, and then from there, he still goes into comfort zones, what if, and I've never seen anybody as brutal as this man is to himself. The stuff as beneficial in my life that I can pull out of this book are the brutally honest points. Being brutally honest with yourself, accepting your failures and learning from your failures. I say this a lot, no matter how bad something is that you went through, it's like this big pile of shit that we carry around with us all the time. And you don't have to carry all that shit around with you all the time. Through everything that you've been through, you can dig through that pile of shit and find there's a little gold coin in there, man. You take that little gold coin and put it in your pocket and let the rest of that shit go. And you can look back on that and take that gold coin and use it to grow, man. Cash that in for growth. And I really hope that this, we'll call it book report. I really hope that this book report was something beneficial to you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know down in the comments. Like it, share it if you can. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification, all that stuff. But I am really curious to see what you guys think of this book review, what we can do better. Again, if I don't know where I'm failing, I can't grow, right? Thanks, guys. What am I talking about?